What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Tom's Take, and this is my movie channel where I talk about all things movies and entertainment, anything I want to talk about in that world, because that's what YouTube is good for. So today, I'm going to do a bit of a discussion video, a bit of a top 5, and it is another Star Wars related topic, and Star Wars is one of my favorite things to talk about. I know I've had a lot of Star Wars content lately, but I like talking about Star Wars, and hopefully you guys love talking about Star Wars too, so I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to be talking about the top 5 things that Lucasfilm and Star Wars cannot keep doing or should stop doing. Now, I have a few problems lately. We've heard about, Colin Trevorrow leaving as director of Episode 9. We've seen Lord and Miller get fired off the Han Solo movie 80% of the way through production. Gareth Edwards had problems with Rogue One. So Star Wars has had a bit of a bumpy road recently. And so I thought I'd make this video just some things that I have problems with the way Star Wars is going at the moment, and get some of those out there and then see what you guys think. I also want to turn it over to you guys and see what you guys have to say. So, in no real particular order from 1 to 5, these are just the 5 things that I think Lucasfilm and Star Wars cannot continue to do and should stop doing. So, the first thing on my list is obviously the aforementioned shuffling the directors. Lord and Miller were fired 80% of the way through production. Colin Trevorrow left Episode 9, and, they had problems with Gareth Edwards with the reshoots and everything like that. And this, to me, I said it in my video about Colin Trevorrow exiting the project of Episode 9, that, for me, this calls into question Kathy Kennedy's leadership, because how many times are you going to sign a director and then get a fair bit of the way into the process of putting the film together and then realize you're not on the same page? I don't understand why they couldn't get on the same page to begin with at the start. Now look, to be fair to Kathy Kennedy and Lucasfilm, Lord and Miller basically, from what we were hearing, tried to hijack the Han Solo movie and make the movie that they hadn't agreed upon initially when they had signed up. And Colin Trevorrow, we don't really know why he left. I assume personally that it's because of the Carrie Fisher death that was unexpected. But anyway, at any rate, they should be able to get on the same page with their directors and be able to keep a closer eye on them and make the film that both parties have agreed to make. And they cannot keep doing this, because otherwise they're just going to turn into like DC. Remember DC for all who are having this problem? Look at the flash of how many directors came in and out. It was a revolving door. And I also think the reason we are having such a big problem with directors in Star Wars and even in DC coming and going all the time is because they announced these directors so far ahead. Colin Trevorrow was announced as the director of Episode 9, I think, way back, just after The Force Awakens had come out. And that's a long way ahead to announce a director. And I think, hold off announcing the directors for a little bit, have it come out as a rumor or whatever, but don't confirm it, don't deny it, don't say anything until you're ready to make sure you're on the same page. The second thing I don't think Lucasfilm and Star Wars can continue to do is make standalones of characters we already know. Yes, the idea of an Obi-Wan in the desert movie just excites me and gives me goosebumps and thinking of the possibilities. We love the characters that we already know, we're attached to them. But this is Star Wars. When we say we're going to do a Han Solo movie, and even Rogue One, I would argue, played it safe as well. It was an event we already knew. I want to see new things. Every standalone cannot keep being a young Han Solo movie, a young Jabba movie, a young Obi-Wan movie. We can't keep doing this. This goes on to my point number 3. And point number 3 is similar to point 2 about the standalones of characters we already know. And point 3 is Lucasfilm just playing it safe in general. The Force Awakens, I understandably so, and I'm one of the biggest defenders of The Force Awakens. I understand why they chose to play The Force Awakens so safe, because most people in the Star Wars community don't like the Star Wars prequels. Now, I don't hate them, but I don't super love them either. I actually really like Revenge of the Sith. If you've seen our reviews of the prequels, you'll know my thoughts on them in depth. So I understand why The Force Awakens was, had to play it safe for that reason. But they just seem to continue playing it safe and going back to the well, and they keep playing in the same sort of time period. All the sort of extracurricular content that we've had in Rebels and in most of the novels and with Rogue One have all played between, episode 3 and episode 4. Han Solo, I think, is going to play between 3 and 4, and Obi-Wan is going to play between 3 and 4. And yeah, that's an interesting time period. I like that time period, but why do we have to keep setting our events there? You've got a galaxy, you've got a universe, expand it. You have the biggest IP property in the movie world. You have Star Wars. The name Star Wars will carry your movie to box office success. Just doesn't matter what the subject matter is. You put the name Star Wars on it, it will put butts in seats. At least that is my opinion. Let's do something completely new and different and stop shrinking the universe, because I think when you say you're going to do an Obi-Wan and a Han Solo and you're going to keep connecting, even new characters like Jyn and Cassian in Rogue One, they were connected really tightly to the events of episode 4 and to Darth Vader and all that sort of thing. And that to me shrinks the universe. I want to make it bigger. Let's get some new characters. Let's brand new, start again, other side of the universe. And we move on to my next point. And my next point here is they cannot continue to ignore the prequels. And yes, look, I have a lot of problems with the Star Wars prequels, mainly Attack of the Clones. I actually like The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith for the most part. But Lucasfilm, understandably so, when The Force Awakens was coming out, they didn't reference the prequels at Star Wars Celebration or anything. They didn't talk about it. It was just the elephant in the room. No one spoke of it. JJ made a pretty big effort to pretty much not reference any of the prequels in The Force Awakens. Yes, there was a couple of little mentions of a clone army and little tiny things like that, but I think moving forward, and I do think The Last Jedi is actually going to incorporate some big prequel references. I wouldn't fall over of shock if Hayden Christensen appears as an Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost. But I do think Lucasfilm just need to accept the fact that the prequels are canon, they are family, whether we like them or not, they are part of the Star Wars history. And I think if it serves the story, they should not be afraid to reference them, to bring in people back from the prequels, and stop ignoring them, stop pretending they don't exist. We can't pretend they don't exist forever. And we move on to my last point here, and this one is a big controversial topic, and there is no right or wrong answer to this, okay? This is something that I hope that Lucasfilm aren't afraid to do, and I think they are. I think they are afraid of this. And this is the topic of Princess Leia. Now, obviously, unfortunately, we lost Carrie Fisher tragically, and she was a big part of the Star Wars universe. Princess Leia is a huge character in this universe. I've always known Princess Leia to be Carrie Fisher and Carrie Fisher to be Princess Leia. And I think, understandably so, Lucasfilm have said, Princess Leia is not in episode 9. We're not going to CGI Carrie Fisher. But they never said they weren't going to recast Carrie Fisher. Now, this is something that has a lot of Star Wars fans divided. People think, no, don't recast her, just write her out. Respectfully as you can, write her out. Don't CGI her, that's disrespectful, write her out. Now, I have a bit of an issue with those kind of arguments. Now, it's all coming from a place of respect and love and whatever. But I don't think it is disrespectful to recast Princess Leia. I don't think it would be disrespectful if they CGI'd Carrie Fisher a la Grand Moff Tarkin in episode 9. Now, obviously, you couldn't do it for a large role, but you could do it in a couple of scenes just to move her out of the story. I would like to see them recast Princess Leia. I would. Would I prefer to have Carrie Fisher play Princess Leia? Yeah, I would. But she can't do that, so I think recast. If the story demands it, you recast the character. Because look, it's not disrespectful to Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher spent the best part of 40 years bringing Princess Leia to life. And if you've watched interviews with Carrie Fisher and you've heard her talk about Princess Leia, you know how much she loved Star Wars. You know how much she loved this character of Princess Leia. I don't think she would want them to go, well, if it's not you, then throw the character away, write her out, like not having her in episode 9. I think that to me is disrespectful. I think, no, the story, they've said too, they had big plans for Leia, the character of Leia in episode 9. It's got to come to a point where we don't just need to be respectful to Carrie Fisher, we need to be respectful to the character of Princess Leia. And you cannot understate Princess Leia's importance in the Star Wars universe. And I think if you need to recast, if you need Princess Leia in the movie, then absolutely recast. Yes, we're gonna go, oh, that's not right. That's not right. But they're recasting Harrison Ford. They're recasting Han Solo. Yes, it's a younger version, but still, we're still gonna have the same problem. We're still gonna have that knee-jerk reaction of, oh, that's not Harrison Ford. So, why not? Recast Princess, get Meryl Streep if you have to. I'd actually like to see that. She's like my top pick. If they're gonna recast Princess Leia, my top pick is Meryl Streep. But anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that button because it will help me out. Please give this video a like if you like this video. Share it around. What do you think about the things that I brought up? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's have a discussion in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching my video, guys, and I will see you guys next time. May the Force be with you.